Hi viewers, welcome to this edition of Pyramid Times. Today we are going to talk about relationships. I'm Nitya Chalam. I'm an author, holistic healer, access consciousness facilitator, and a shamanic facilitator, and also an advisor for Pyramid Times. Today we're going to talk about one of the most important topics, and I thought instead of me talking about it, why not I invite my mentor, Bhagyalakshmi Murali, and I would like to say a few words about her. She's a master in English literature, and she's been teaching and conducting classes for the last 21 years or so. And she's an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator and a Talk to the Entity Certified Facilitator. But on a more personal note, I'm so privileged to know her, and she's been one of the kindest beings I've ever met, one of my favorite people on the planet. Every time she's amazed me by her kindness. Every time the way she's responded to any situation or to me has, wowed me. It has made me get into how I can be so kind. It's made me think what true kindness means. And she dedicates her life to Mother Earth, to doing a lot of work for Earth and every person. If you know her, she's been there for everyone who knows her in all ways that she can be there. And she's helped me a lot. I cannot express enough gratitude for how much a contribution she has been to me in my life and helped me grow. And she still helps me a lot. She's the one person I would look out for any advice. She's one of the most amazing beings. And last but not least, she's a mother to everyone. And she's adopted me. So I'd like to introduce her as my mother too. And welcome to our show, Bhagyama. We're so happy to have you here to talk about relationships today.
Yeah, thank you, Nitya, for all that you have said. I'm very grateful for every word that you have expressed. And the one thing that, just one tiny correction, is that I have been doing this. I have been working since I was 21, and now I'm 66.
Oh.
Okay, so the willingness to learn and grow, the willingness to know that there is a different possibility has always been something that has fueled my efforts. And I know that anybody can make a choice to change. It's just a choice. So yes, I'm Ma to many people all over the world, and it is my privilege to be that. And relationships are probably the most discussed and oftentimes the most misinterpreted, misunderstood of all things on the planet. So it is wonderful that you're talking about it. We are talking about it so that maybe somebody who is facing some kind of a challenge would probably see the light at the end of the tunnel.
That is so nice to hear, Bhagyama. So we want to break few myths of relationships. So can you, and when I've heard you talk, you always talk about relationship of self. So can you explain how relationship with self is so important and how that will, make sure the relationship with others is also set?
Yeah, the simplest way I can tell you, Nitya, the simplest analogy that I can use here is like, can you build a house without putting in the foundation? And the answer is, of course, no,
Not
you
yet.
can't do that. Not yet, and maybe not. And you need a foundation in order to build a house. In the same way, your relationship with yourself is the foundation for all other relationships that you have in the world. Okay, relationship, actually, when you talk of relationship, it could mean the distance between two things, two objects. But when you recognize that your relationship with yourself is the most critically important point that we all need to be aware of and work on, then things become simpler, easier. Okay, now what is the problem? The biggest myth is that people think the problem is with somebody else. He's like that, she's like that, they're like that, this is like that is like that. And the focus is always on something external. They will not look at, okay, so there somebody has sown a neem seed. And then when the plant grows, they say, I want mangoes. Well, There's nothing wrong with neem. It's a very, 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 very wonderful tree and an amazing healing energy. But if you want mangoes, you have to sow mango seeds. If you want apples, you have to sow apple seeds. If you want a good relationship with people, you have to have a good relationship with yourself. Now, where is the problem? The problem is the expectations that people have from others. For example, they will judge themselves endlessly for everything. But if somebody else judges them, they don't like it. They get very upset, very angry, and become defensive also. My question is like, how come it is right for you to judge yourself all the time, but somebody else should not be doing this? So when you stop judging yourself, when you stop expecting respect from other people, because the respect you have for yourself is whole and complete. You are not needy for it from outside. When you trust yourself implicitly, then it is very easy to find people who trust you also. So as I always say, and you have heard me saying this many times, that each one of us is an invitation to how the world should treat us.
Yes.
It will treat us the way we treat ourselves. So if we want others to treat us well, we need to treat ourselves better. We have to be willing to have a level of gratitude for ourselves. Most people, they don't have that. They expect gratitude from other people without being grateful for themselves. So when I talk about foundation, that is the relationship we have with ourselves, it has to have all these components in place. It cannot be like Monday, I'll not judge myself, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and rest of the week, yes, so I will do that. That doesn't work. The judgment is one thing that stops everything that you desire from coming to you. And then there are many people who have said to me, who have told me that, how can I improve if I don't judge myself? If I don't critique my work, if I don't criticize myself, how am I going to get better? Recently, there was a call I did with someone who said this. And so I asked him, okay, so how long have you been judging yourself? I mean, it could be all your life, but how long have you been judging yourself a lot? So like in the past 10 years. So my next question is, so what has changed for you in the past 10 years for the better? Nothing. Then if that judgment and that self-criticism, the lack of self-trust, the lack of self-allowance, the lack of gratitude for self does not go, where is anything else going to change? So the one and only work that each one of us has is to work on ourselves, to change those places where change is required, to add on things that are actually working for us, to increase the level of gratitude. Like today, I'm more grateful for myself than any time before. You mean to say yesterday I was not grateful? Of course, I was grateful yesterday, but today I'm more grateful than I was yesterday. It's like that. Work on oneself never stops. But when you work on yourself, everything else gets better also. Does it answer your question, Nitya?
Yes, ma'am, that is so amazing. But how do we, inspire our viewers to love themselves more, to respect themselves more? So any tips you have for how we can be more grateful to ourselves?
Yeah, ultimately, everybody wants to be loved. Ultimately, everybody wants love, right? I don't know anybody who says, no, I can do without that. I have not found anyone like that yet. But the thing is that there is a difference between conditional love and unconditional love. Your love for yourself or anybody else should never have conditions attached to it. I have so many people I have worked with, and seen, met, who will tell their children, like, if you do this, I'll not love you. That's not the way, which means your love is conditional. If this is there, then that is there. It should not be like that. The same thing is one's love for oneself. There should be no conditions. You have to love yourself the way you are. And from that space of unconditional loving, you see, okay, so what else can I improve? I know I need to improve on rest, more rest. I will work on that. So each one of us knows deep down what changes are required. It's just the willingness to go forward and take action or not. That's a choice also.
That is so amazing, Bhagyama. So we have the choice to, choose more gratitude. How do you be so grateful all the time? I've seen you're an embodiment of kindness and gratitude. What inspires you to be that, and how can we also become like that?
When you look upon life as a gift, somebody came together to make it possible for me to be on this planet. And that is true of everyone who is there. So each one of us is here for a reason. It's not by accident. It is here for a reason. And I believe that each one of us is here to be a contribution in a way that only each one of us can be. And when we are full of self-hate or anger, rage, fury, hate, guilt, blame, shame, regret, sadness, frustration, and all that, we cannot be the energy that we came here to be. When people say, I don't know what to be grateful for, I ask them, are you alive? Yes. Are you breathing on your own? Yes. In today's time, at today's date, that is enough for you to be more than grateful about than at any other point of time in the history of this existence on the planet. So when you realize that there is so much working inside you, those trillions and trillions of cells are all working inside you to keep you going. The stomach doesn't make the kind of noise that the grinder does when it goes around getting your docilely thing ready. Everything happens quietly, silently. And this is one of the things that I would like to bring your awareness to, that when things happen quietly, silently, easily, people take it for granted. You cannot take it for granted. So when you are grateful for who you are and appreciate yourself for who you are, then you have so much gratitude within you that it just spills out all over. Without it being in you, you will not get it outside. Okay? The gratitude that you have for yourself, for being that one of a kind, unique being on the planet. There was nobody like you before. Ever. There isn't anybody like you right now. There never will be anybody like you ever again in the future. What level of gratitude must each one of us have for being that one person that cannot be duplicated? When you are that energy, nothing looks like a problem. Even the worst kind of problem situations, you begin to ask questions from a place of gratitude, from a place of integrity, from a place of honesty with self, from a place of trusting oneself, to know that you know what to do. It's so easy to say, I don't know what to do. Then you shut off all your knowing. So if each one spends time building their relationship with themselves, and no matter what has happened in the past, how difficult, how challenging it could have been. Today is a new day. You can wipe the slate clean and start afresh. I have asked people to stand in front of the mirror and to look into their eyes with a level of gratitude, and they have cried because they've never seen themselves like that. Does it mean they were not there? Of course, they were always there. So the willingness to acknowledge oneself, the willingness to appreciate oneself, the willingness to pat ourselves in the back whenever we do something nice, instead of waiting for it from outside. If you're waiting, then you will wait forever because each one is preoccupied with their own lives. How many people take time out to actually tell people, unless they are asked, of course. But by being that energy of gratitude, that is what you are able to then share with others, pass on to people, give them a different lens to look through, a lens that is clear and has no judgment in it. I think that is a prescription for an incredible relationship with self and incredible relationships outside also. And have no expectations. If you get it, it's a bonus. If it doesn't come, it doesn't matter. Because you're giving to yourself everything that you require. Whether it is love, whether it is respect, whether it is kindness and caring. You know, you're not hungry for it, needy for it from outside. So you have been created in that image, in the likeness of God. The divinity is here. Why look outside? When you see it here, you see it everywhere. You see it everywhere and in everyone.
That is so empowering, Bhagyama. So nice to hear. My whole face is lighting up just hearing your words. It is so lovely, to know that you can give everything to yourself, and then you get it from outside. I think most amazing words, and the way you put it is like amazing. I just wanted to add, viewers, that she's one of the founders of Be Empowered Now. The name of her organization itself is so empowering, and every time you talk to her, hear her, you will leave more empowered. You will leave liking yourself better. That's the kindness and the aura that she carries. So, and Bhagyam, I would like to ask another question here. Many people, keep pondering what exactly is God and how should our relationship with God be. Could you talk a little about that too?
So whether people call it God or give it a name or refer to it as the universe or the creator, there is an energy, there is a field of consciousness of which each one of us is a part. It is a field of possibilities. It's an all-knowing energy. Okay. So I said like a spark of that is within each one of us also. So we are co-creators with that energy. Right? Now, in order to cognitize that concept and to be able to okay, so what does God mean to me? So God is of course more powerful than any other energy. So they may give that statue or that idol 8 hands instead of 2. Okay, and it's an incredible way to get the idea of how the creative energy is an all-powerful energy. So we have made God in our image, in the likeness of our image. And God has created us in his or her image as a co-creator in the universe. So the way I see it, we can call it the source energy, the energy from which everything is created. In our culture, we know it as Brahma. Okay, so when you are a co-creator in the universe, then you become the creator of your own life also. And then there is the energy of Vishnu. the one who sustains, the one who preserves. You have that energy also to cherish, to nurture, to help preserve life on this planet for the ones to come after us. Okay? And whatever it is that has not worked for you, whatever it is that has not added value to you or to anybody else, you can destroy that energy and put something else in its place. So all the energy of the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer, the sparks of that is within each one of us, which means that we are all plugged into that energy of source. Every single being is plugged into that source. It's like a switch, plugged in. Not all are switched on all the time. Periodically, during moments of meditation, yes. What happens in the 23 hours after you come out of that meditation is the key. So when you are connected to this source field, this source energy, call it whatever name, then everything works out for you in a way that seems to be one of greater ease. Right? Now, what do I mean by connected to the source? Right? So, can I ask you a question then?
Yes, ma'am.
So, what does God mean to you? When you think of God, what comes up?
Earlier, I had this pattern of not liking God because I felt that he's, making good people suffer and all the people who are doing wrong. But now, after especially listening a lot to you, I feel maybe my best version is what God is to me.
Okay. When I ask this to most people, usually this is the answer, that God is love. The energy of pure, unconditional, unadulterated love, that is what God is. So when you become the energy of unconditional love for yourself and the world, you're directly connected to that source energy. And when you are grateful for that, the gratitude that you have, gratitude has a very high vibrational frequency, right, Ma?
Yes.
That's also love. So it is not that you put blinders and you don't see what is happening. You, more than at any other point of time, when you choose to live this way, you are aware of each and every one and what's going on in their heads. It's like reading a book. But you don't have a point of view about that. You are not reacting to that. You are not judging that. You are not going into the wrongness of that, because that is that person's choice. You get to choose for yourself. You get to choose that. So when we are in that energy of unconditional love and gratitude, then we become very, very close to the source. We become a part of the source. Now, on the flip side, when we go into anger, rage, fury, and all of those energies, we disconnect from that source energy. We cannot be a part of that anymore, because that is not a matching energy to what it is. So going into reaction, going into negatives and all that is like actually hurting yourself. It doesn't help anybody. So does it mean that you will never get upset? Does it mean like you will never get angry at all? You're in a reality. The predominant energies are those. So occasionally you might find yourself losing your cool. And you can allow yourself to have that for a moment or two, for 10 seconds. You're not denying yourself or suppressing anything, but you are not willing to marinate in that energy because it doesn't help.
Yes.
Okay. So the best example that I can give for this, Nitya, and I know you've heard me say this before, but for the sake of the viewers, I would like to say that, everyone wants to create a reality beyond this reality. What does it mean? I don't want to be a part of this reality. That is not the way to go about it. Because you happen to be in this reality right now. So visualize a lotus flower. Where does it grow?
In the mud
In mud
ponds.
and dirt. What about the water? Is it clean, filtered water? No. But when you see the bloom above the water, does it have any mud, any dirty water? No, it is flawless. Right? But suppose you pull
Yes.
that plant out of the mud, can it survive? So while being a part of this reality, we have to be the catalysts for a different kind of reality by being those energies that will create transformation everywhere.
That is so lovely, Bhagyama. I might have heard this before, but every time you say it just comes with, so much energy and just shifts so much. So lovely. That example was so lovely. And so the next question I have is, from what we've heard, is it like non-judgment could be one of those God energies, and
Yes.
non-judgment is where we should head?
Yeah, because love does not include that energy. When I say unconditional love, there is no judgment. Now, so you said a little while ago that, I thought God punishes people. Did God come and say, look, Nitya, that's wrong, okay? That is not true. That is not what I do.
No.
So even when people put their blame on God, God is not reacting. God is not that energy. The energy of love without conditions. So we create everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the miraculous, everything. But when something good happens, people are willing to take, like acknowledge themselves, I created this. If something bad happens, it's God. It's not like that. We create everything and we create it with our thoughts. The moment you think a thought, the process of creation has already begun. That is how powerful each one is. And then they say, I was so afraid that this might happen, and it did. I said it happened because you thought like that. So it comes back to each one of us all the time.
Yes, it comes back to us, how we look at ourselves, how we choose ourselves. That is so amazing to hear, Bhagyam. So
And we may have messed up or tripped over because of haste or this, that, anything, Nitya, it's possible, okay? However, instead of going into the wrongness of that, okay, so that was my choice then. What can I choose right now? That is how quickly we can shift.
Moment by moment.
Moment by moment. By being present.
That is so amazing to hear. I'm like really happy for this conversation. Cannot express what I'm feeling, but it's so lovely to hear everything. Just wanted to add one more thing. I've been part of Bhagyama's Extreme Self-Care program, which is one of the most amazing programs. She runs it for a year, and I have been there for the last more than a year. It has helped me immensely. It has helped me create things that I thought I never could. The best version of who you are. So recommend it to everyone. And I'm still continuing that. And Bhagyama, can you talk a little about why self-care is so important?
Yeah. So how many people do you know, Nitya, who have compromised on their well-being and worked day and night and made a lot of money, and then they have used that money in the hospital trying to get well?
Lots of people.
There are lots and lots of people. See, the body is an incredible piece of creation. The more you learn about the body, the more you are inspired by who you are. That is the way it functions. It's like a walking, talking miracle.
Wow.
However, you might have the most expensive car in the world. But if you don't put air in the tires or fuel, gas or whatever, diesel or petrol or whatever, after a while, when that gets over, is it going anywhere?
No.
Cannot go. So it is like that. There are some basic requirements for optimal functioning for the body. And when you begin to take care of yourself better, the body is able to function better. And people, when they have any kind of pain, they take a painkiller. It's like shooting a messenger. Your body is just trying to tell you there is something that needs your attention. So Extreme Self-Care 365, when Advanced Extreme Self-Care 365 came, it's like my dream, Nitya. I've wanted to do it for 40 plus years. But I used to like, okay, after I finish this, after I finish that, after I do this. So what I started in my 60s, I just wanted you people to start early. The body in its kindness and its capacity for renewal can help at any point of time once you start taking care of it better. Once you start being present with and in your body, it works better. There is no like only time frame it can be after 60 it doesn't work. It's not like that. But it helps to make it a lifestyle from earlier. So it's better late than never, but it's better earlier than later.
That is so amazing, Bhagyama. Like I said, extreme self-care has helped me change so much from my body to my creativity. It actually helped me get that, we are here to create. Life is about to create, and I don't have to prove myself to me, and I'm not a limitation, right? I don't have to go beyond limitation because I'm not a limitation in the first place. So
the
these are amazing.
The greatest limitation, Nitya, is thinking that you are limited.
Wow.
The moment you give up that, then you become limitless. That's who you are.
That is so true.
Who everybody is. So can you tell me more about this this organization and the work that they're doing? Because
thank you.
I know that this information will reach many people. And I know that there are many people who will benefit from this kind of work that is being done. So maybe if you can talk about it, then more people will access it.
Sure, Bhagyama. Thank you for asking. So PyramidTimes, the vision of PyramidTimes is to become like a spiritual Netflix. It is to connect with lots and lots of people who are spiritual and spread it all across the world. And we are doing multiple interviews and multiple talks with different people. And also to help leadership, entrepreneurs a lot in the corporate work. So these are the two areas in which we're looking to make a difference in the world and spread a lot. So in the YouTube channel, there'll be lots of different talks with different leaders, and each one is targeted for a different topic, same audience but different kind of topic, and anyone looking to better their lives or learn more about themselves can definitely view our channel.
So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this platform. And I know for sure that instead of wanting to change the world and change the world and change the world and change everybody, if each one on the planet were to just work on themselves and take care of themselves, wouldn't the world be a different place, Ma?
It would be, if we acknowledge the gift that...
So much easier to do that, isn't it?
That was such a lovely conversation, Bhagyam. I'm so grateful that you're here. I think
so it is my humble request to each and everyone who sees it either live or later to go stand in front of the mirror and look into their eyes as if I'm looking at them. And I promise you and them that they will see a miracle. So once you acknowledge the miracle that you are, then what will you go forth and create more of? Miracles, of course. So I wish each and everyone the very best that life has to offer. And I pray that this interview will be the moment of change for many people because they will start loving themselves unconditionally.
Yeah. That is so lovely of you, Bhagyama. And so amazing. I'm so grateful for this conversation. Viewers, actually, Bhagyama is the person who's written the foreword in my book. She's written amazing words. Every word that you hear from her, I'm sure you would have found it amazing. I found it really amazing. And I can't express how much grateful I am to you, Fatima. Thank you so much for being with us today. And we will catch up with you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and have a wonderful life ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.